Hello. Okay, this week I'm being very serious. We have a lot to get through. There's a lot of news, and there's Portland Startup Week 2025, which I've kind of teased on a few other episodes, but now we're getting serious. Now the calendar's coming together. I have a lot of events to take you through that I want you to attend for Portland Startup Week. So, that's going to be the bulk of this. We have some other stories here and there, some fundraising and that kind of thing. But before we get to any of that, I wanted to take a moment to celebrate a small win. I was looking at the stats on the blog, and it turns out that I have now published 5,500 posts to Silicon Florist since 2007. Just an accomplishment. I'll be at 6,000 before you know it, or maybe 10,000. I don't know. Who knows how long I'll keep doing this? I've been doing it for 17 plus years now. I might as well make it to like 20 or something. Anyway, that's my small win. Just wanted to celebrate that. We're getting to the Portland Startup Week stuff. Just hang on. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know that when I post these videos, I do shout outs to folks who are mentioned during the episode or who were intended to be mentioned. Maybe I mentioned their company, things along those lines. Today, I just wanted to take the opportunity really quickly to actually shout out a few people. First and foremost, Yalda, thank you so much for your comments every week. There are multiple comments usually, and I really enjoy your feedback and insights on each episode and try and respond to every single one of them. So thank you. You make this YouTube spot a much better place. So I really appreciate your comments. Second, Caroline, if this is Monday morning and you're having your morning coffee while you're watching this, you may need a couple cups, maybe even a pot, because we got a lot of information to get through. And finally, Marcelino. Mars just wanted to give you a shout out this week. If you don't know Mars, he founded a company called Photon Marine. And this week, Photon Marine had New Lab in town for a number of days. They were touring all of Portland. They had many gatherings with many people from the Portland area. I had the opportunity to attend at least one. I wish I could have made more. The New Lab people were great. If you're not familiar with New Lab, they are really at the forefront of creating workspace for people who are bringing innovative solutions, climate tech solutions, really critical solutions for our planet into being. And if you've ever been to New York and seen the Brooklyn Navy Yards, that's the New Lab that we're talking about. They've also got projects in Detroit and other places, but they were in Portland just kind of touring around, hanging out with Photon Marine and learning more about our community. That's about all I can say right now, but I'll definitely keep you posted on the New Lab story. And of course, as always, on Photon Marine, because I love watching what they're doing. If you're not familiar with Photon Marine, they create an EV outboard motor for shipping, boating fleets for commercial use, and are really doing something meaningful with technology that is positively impacting our planet and helping make it a better place to live. So thanks to the whole Photon Marine crew for all the work they did this week, and to New Lab for coming out, hanging out, spending some time in Portland and getting to know the people and companies here. I already look forward to your next trip out to Portland. Okay, so that's it for the actual shout outs. But speaking of people visiting Portland, a couple weeks back, I mentioned this thing where I was like, look, here are 4 key insights I took away from this meeting with a VC who was visiting. That VC was Clarence Bethia from True Ventures. And if you didn't get a chance to sit down with Clarence while he was here, I have very good news for you, because Stephen Green sat down with Clarence and had him on the Pitch Black podcast. It released, I believe, last week, but I went ahead and posted it this week just to give it another kind of bump so that people were paying attention to it. I'll go ahead and link that up here, but it's some really good insight into, not only Clarence, but the way that any VC kind of looks at deals, how you should communicate with them, what you should expect out of a relationship with a VC. So well worth the listen. Please take the time to listen to that. And honestly, every episode of the Pitch Black podcast, it's just been great. And as things come up that are specifically in the space of startups or venture capital or those kind of things, I'll make sure and share those with you so that you have access to those as well. But I highly recommend subscribing to the Pitch Black podcast just so you get every single episode. If you listen this far, this is a secret. Now, next week, we're doing the April 29th meetup in Ankeny Alley. It's really designed to support the small businesses along Ankeny Alley, and a number of people are showing up, but I want to sweeten the deal a little bit. So just because you're listening to this on YouTube or on the podcast, I wanted to put this out there. If you show up to Ankeny Alley while I am there, I will buy you a beverage. Just show up, get a beverage, hang out, maybe do a little more kind of shopping or eating or drinking along Ankeny Alley that evening and support all of the people there. Please, it would be great to have you do that. But first and foremost, I would just like to convince you to come down there with the promise of a free drink. So I'll probably be at Shanghai Tunnel, maybe. I think they have outdoor seating. If not, I'll be somewhere. You just have to come find me in Ankeny Alley. I look like this. This is what I look like. If you're listening to the podcast, that's not going to help much. But for you, those of you on YouTube, this is what I look like. Find me. We'll get you a beverage, and we'll hang out in Ankeny Alley. Okay? So, but don't shh. This is a podcast exclusive, so don't go telling everybody. This is you and me, just between you and me. Free drink for you if you show up, Ankeny Alley, April 29th. Look forward to seeing you there and buying you a drink. Okay. Ankeny Alley is a community gathering. Speaking of community gatherings, you know what's coming up May 12th through May 16th, 2025. That's right. It's the reboot of Portland Startup Week. Now, I've given you the history about this before, but just as a refresher, I helped start Portland Startup Week way back when. I don't even know, 2015, somewhere in 24, somewhere back there before the pandemic. I helped start it. I used to organize it, program it, work with everybody, that kind of thing. As we got into 2018, 2019, I was like, I need to hand this off to somebody else. Josh Carter raised his hand. I think at the time he was at WeWork Labs, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, Josh is like, no, I totally want to do that. I'll take over Portland Startup Week. And then what happened? Of course, the pandemic. So no Portland Startup Weeks for a while. And then we were kind of testing the water, and, it just didn't seem like the right time until now. And so Josh has officially rebooted Portland Startup Week with Portland Startup Week 2025. There's a full calendar throughout the week, tons of events. And so what I wanted you to do is show up. What I want to do for you is to read off all of the events that are happening during the week. I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. I'll have to look down at my script to make sure that I'm getting all of the events, because there are a lot. But hopefully you'll hear something. You'll be, hey, I need to know more about that. And of course, I'll link everything up so you have access to all that. You can go to the calendar. You can RSVP. You can do all those things. But first and foremost, I just wanted you to have an understanding of the variety, the number, the days that are busier than other days. So let's get into Portland Startup Week 2025. Here is the schedule as it now stands. There may be other events added later, and if so, I will let you know next week what additional events have been added to the calendar. Okay, let's go. Monday, May 12th, Upstart Collective Open Co-working, Data-Driven Biohacking, and the PDX Startup Week Kickoff Party. On to Tuesday, May 13th, we've got OEN's Morning Run, Founder Coffee, a Rad Workday, which features co-working and a roundtable discussion. Girls Just Want to Have Funds, Happy Hour. We have Startup Founders, Where Are They Now? Celebrating AAPI Heritage Month. So Asian American, and Pacific Islander folks will be the guests at those fireside chats. Climate Innovators and Community Celebration, Hike and Reflect, Rediscover Meaning in Your Startup Career. Now, on to Wednesday, May 14th. Latino Founders Sip and Learn Coffee, Trends and Opportunities for Portland Founders and Investor Perspective, Nailing Product Market Fit, a workshop for customer centricity. OEN May Pub Talk, networking in Portland. New Tech PDX, another reboot, an event that was huge prior to the pandemic, now coming back in Portland Startup Week. New Tech PDX used to be one of those that like 300, 400 people would show up every month for this event. I'm eager to see it rebooted and see what the attendance is, so keep an eye out on New Tech PDX. TIE Oregon is having a virtual pitch club and women entrepreneurs quarterly networking meeting. Now, Thursday, May 15th, build a startup in 90 minutes. Fundraise faster with Bread and Butter Ventures. Apparently everything's fast this day. Startup Week Live podcast will be recorded. Reverse VC pitch is happening. Beers with Engineers. A speed bragging event. Demolicious is happening that night with the Portland Startup Week edition. I think it's special that night, so keep an eye on Demolicious. And of course, our friends at AI Portland are having Hello World, demystifying AI, ML, NLP. Finally, Friday, May 16th, the final day of Startup Week, AI Portland's having a 0 to 1 build challenge. Startup Cafe at the Hub, as it happens regularly, will be held that week as well. Learn to bend so you won't break. A relaxation session for startup founders, not your dad's angel investing, and the closing party, which will be held at Wonderlove, that wacky food cart pod there on the east side. So that's the full week for you. Again, you can attend one event, you can attend many events. A lot of these events are free, some of them charge, but play it by ear. Do what you want to do. Go to as many of these events as you possibly can. It's a great way to engage with community. Really, all in all, Portland Startup Week is just designed to celebrate the startup community and also highlight the events, many of which occur throughout the year, but give them the chance to be highlighted as part of the Portland Startup Week celebration. So I encourage you to get out to at least one event. Even if it's just the opening party or the closing party, please take the opportunity to engage with the community during Portland Startup Week 2025. I told you there'd be some fundraising, so let's talk about that. Araceli Biosciences, it's a biotech company. That's unique. We've been hearing fundraising pretty much every week. It's been a good year for fundraising in Portland and in Oregon so far. Araceli raised $11.2 million, and what they do is AI enabled imagery and scanning as part of drug discovery. I'm just talking out my ass. I don't really that's what they do in very, very layperson's terms. I'm sure they can explain it much more clearly. And it's really interesting to finally see, after so much effort by like our friends at Turoczy and other bioscience and biotech focused folks, to see a biotech company being celebrated and getting some funding to continue building their solutions here in Portland. I look forward to following along on this and maybe even learning exactly what it is they do. They do drug discovery. I know that much. And I know it's got some AI and some imagery kind of stuff. But I'll link up the video. I'll link up their site. And you can maybe come back and tell me what they do. Maybe we trade spots and you explain to me what the drug discovery kind of things they're doing are. Okay? Cool. Okay. Couple applications. One that's due, if you're listening to this on Friday, due today. So if you're listening to this on Saturday or later, I don't know, you can try. Maybe they'll accidentally leave the applications open. But they're due today, April 25th, 2025, for the Oregon UAS Accelerator. That's the one out in Pendleton for the drones and the drone adjacent kind of pursuits and startups. You get a whole bunch of like money and mentorship and space and flight facilities, and you get to do a demo day in kind of conjunction with the world famous Pendleton Roundup, the big rodeo out there in Pendleton. So whole bunch of benefits and perks for being part of the Oregon UAS Accelerator. If you are working on a drone solution, no matter where you are, you can come from wherever. I think they had a company from Singapore in one of the classes. So like if you're working on drones, this is by far the best accelerator program in the world for people focused on drone or drone adjacent solutions. Please quit listening to me. Go get your application in so that you potentially have the chance to be in the next cohort. Speaking of applications that are due, our friends at TIE Oregon have opened up their Columbia River pitch competition applications. They're due by May 12th. If you don't remember Columbia River pitch, let me remind you about TIE Oregon and the way they run their program. So what used to happen was TIE Oregon ran this once a year huge pitch event called Pitch Oregon. And after analyzing how that went and where the opportunities really were within Oregon, they decided to split that into 3 separate events. So you have West Side Pitch, which is coming up very quickly. You have the Columbia River Pitch, which is the one that the application is due for by May 12th. That covers Multnomah County in Oregon, as well as Clark County in Washington. If you're not familiar with the geography around here, we're right near the Oregon-Washington border. Vancouver, Washington is just across the Columbia River from us. So what TIE does is kind of combine that into one pitch event. So if you're from, southwestern Washington, or if you're from northwestern Portland and Oregon, then that's a good pitch competition for you, if you're in Multnomah County or Clark County. And then, of course, they finally have the Clackamas County pitch. And trivial fun fact, if you're not from the area, 3 separate counties come together within the Portland city limits: Washington County, Multnomah County, and Clackamas County. And so it's this really interesting dynamic that we had to establish the first regional government of its kind, which we called Metro, that's designed to help navigate some of that multi-county, among county activity. So there's your trivial fact for the day that will make you just the life of the party at your next cocktail party. You can just talk about Metro and how it's the first regional government of its kind. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, back to TIE Oregon Columbia River pitch. Applications due May 12th. I think there are 2 levels. I think there's a pre-seed and a seed. But anyway, if you're in Multnomah County, Washington County, get that in. Now, I touched on the Washington County one, the West Side pitch. Now, I talked about applications being due a while ago. What's going on with that? Well, it's happening May 8th, and they've given us the people. And again, I'm going to need to look at my script because I want you to know the companies that are pitching. I'm not going to tell you what they do because I want you to show up and see them pitch and see who wins. But I will tell you who will be taking the stage for the West Side Pitch Competition on May 8th. Are you ready? Would you like to know that? Cool. Well, then let me tell you. There's Black Book, Funner, Lack to Love, Says Us, Surgivance, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's kind of what it is. And then finally, Tortoise Sportswear. Tortoise, Tortis, not tortoise like a turtle with legs. So those are the companies that'll be taking the stage on May 8th. If you would like to attend, they are still selling tickets, I believe, and they often live stream the events as well. So I don't know if they're planning to live stream this one, but they may. If they do, I'll let you know so you can access that live stream because we still have a little time until that happens. So yeah, that's kind of what we've gotten today in the news, in the recap. Speaking of recaps and my bad segues, I did want to mention that I have also rebooted a feature from the olden days of Silicon Florist, which is, the one that has 5,500 posts on it. Some of those posts back in the day were what I like to refer to as links arrangements. I'm a florist. I make arrangements of links. So what I do is I say, hey, this is an interesting story. I don't really have time to write it up, but I want the people to know about it. Or this is a broader startup story. It's tangentially related to what is going on in the Portland startup community. I think it's important that people know about that stuff too. So I save all those links every day. And then once a day, I crate them up into a big post for you called the Silicon Florist Links Arrangement, and then I publish that to the blog. And so what you can do is take that and just kind of click through and learn about things and encounter new stuff. It's kind of like those newsletters you get that are like, hey, here are all the important stories you need to pay attention to. It just comes in the form of a blog post. So once a day, if there are enough links, once a day I will publish those links so that you have access to that stuff just on weekdays. I won't bug you with it on the weekends. On the weekends, I bug you with the newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter. And just making sure that I'm doing a better job of getting you the news you need to stay informed, but also getting rid of some of the 5,000 open tabs I have in my browser. So it's a win-win for both of us. You get more information. I have my browser taking far less of the memory on my machine. So, we're both winners here. So I hope it's helpful and I hope you enjoy it, because I'm going to keep doing it for a while and see how well it works. It used to work really, really well. It used to be beneficial for me and the people who are reading the blog. I'm hopeful that it remains just as helpful for everyone this time around. Okay, cool. Well, as always, I hope this was helpful. I hope you're hanging in there. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.